I'd be excited if this took off right now. Turn it around.
Paul Mahler has a soaring ambition to build a workable flying car.
When did you start thinking about flying cars?
Well, I first got curious about flying when I rescued a hummingbird when I was 5 years old in Canada. As I let it go, it hovered for a second, then just disappeared. And I thought, boy, that's a great way to get to school.
So you thought if I could have a car that would fly me to school.
If I could imitate the hummingbird, my life would change.
Celebrated on television and film for decades, the flying car has remained an elusive dream for many. But Paul Mahler has dreamed longer than most.
Big metal one.
We first met 25 years ago. Back then, he showed us a flying saucer-like model he'd been working on since 1967.
Do you ever get discouraged in this quest?
No, I think we have enough periodic successes that we keep going.
All these years later, Mahler's Sky Car has flown, but at the end of a tether for safety. He's now waiting for the FAA to categorize the unique aircraft before he can test it with a pilot.
This has been an expensive venture for you. How much money has gone into this development so far?
Well, if you take everything, we've spent, and this is kind of an average, about $2.5 million a year for 40 years. That comes out around $100 million. But much of that money I've had to create by other businesses. That's forward, that's braking.
Mahler made millions selling mufflers, but he has spent most of it trying to become the Henry Ford of flying cars.
At some point in time, certainly within the next 10 years, you'll be able to buy this vehicle for the price of a good automobile.
So you're talking $70,000 to $100,000?
Yeah, I think even less than that, because again, we think we can build the engines for about $30 per horsepower. We have roughly 1,000 horsepower, so we have $30,000 in the engines. The vehicle itself costs about the same amount as the engines, so $60,000, yes.
You're saying it doesn't take any skill to fly it?
No, the computers are there to do that work.
What's more, Mahler says his fully automated Sky Car will do the driving for you, and without distractions like traffic, stop signs, and pedestrians, will be a safer way to travel.
You're going to be delivered, you can sleep, you can read, you can play computer games, you can work on the way.
The average person who has a similar dream to the one you've long had.
And it's surprising how many people have the dream that I have. I'm not the only guy that wanted to imitate the hummingbird. There's a very large part of the population, aside from the idea of getting out of the damn traffic jams out there, that mobility, that's more than just getting out of traffic. That's getting into a different life.
I got started on one too.
But it's been so elusive.
It has been elusive because it's got a fairly large amount of money attached to it to make it happen. But we've had clever people, we've had patience, and we've had the time to make it happen. So it's number one.
It's very light. How much does this weigh?
Probably less than 1,000 as it is.
For CBS This Morning,